37 Plays has been a nationwide search for the most exciting new voices of today.
Scene 1, a memory assessment clinic.
Scene 1, a kitchen and living room in a council house in the Meadowell estate.
Scene 1, a hospital meeting room in the near future.
Scene 1. Scene 1.
Scene 1. Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1.
These 37 plays were chosen to be performed script in hand across the country.
It's been an absolute pleasure and delight to put on 3 of the winning plays here in Blackpool this week as script in hand performances.
Beltane is about Sian, who is 16 and gay and living in a small village somewhere in England. She spends all of her time hanging out in the woods with her best mate Tick, who is an immortal tree spirit.
Beltane, it's a really beautiful Shakespearean play, and it plays around with the idea of the mortal world and the natural world.
I love going to the woods, and there's a feeling that you get in the woods that you don't get anywhere else, and some people don't have access to that. So how can we use storytelling and theatre to kind of go, this is what it feels like to be in that space, and this is why we should care about it and why we should try and protect it.
And Billy fuses it with a kind of ethereal, epic drama, really. So it's really, really wonderful.
They hold the crumbs on the flat of their palm. A robin flutters down to peck at them. Tick watches it affectionately, then crushes it abruptly and tosses it aside. Tick disappears.
So we're at Russell School right now, where we've just been rehearsing Stars.
Abby's play about stars was about 2 young people, one of whom who was very, very anxious and scared of death.
Performance, it's like looking at someone's life. I felt like writing a story that could then be acted out so people could see things that I've been thinking. It's been really magical to see it come to life instead of just being words on a page.
I'm going to die. This is not going to help you. You can't even think right now. You're not going to change anything, so just breathe.
So I actually started writing Pram Talk when I was 38 weeks pregnant with my second daughter, and I knew that I had a couple of weeks before the baby came, and if I didn't write this play, I wouldn't get it written. So I poured everything out that I'd felt and thought and wanted to say for the last couple of years. And over the course of a few months, while I was getting to grips with breastfeeding, I found myself just with my phone in my hand, furiously writing little fragments and kind of snippets of conversations I'd heard or had or memories. And eventually I kind of started to sit down and jigsaw all of that together and put that into the play.
No need for heels. You said on your application form you'd still like to party, and you will at Soft Play. They give you lime green socks with little sticky grips. So much fun. Ironic, because floors will always be sticky now.
We are in the Alhambra studio. We are right at the point where we are going to see Abandoned by Felicity Williamson.
My play is called Abandoned, and it's about this autistic girl.
Felicity herself has autism, and she's put all that wealth of knowledge into her play. It's about a girl who gets left behind on a desert island by her parents. It's a really skillful, beautiful little short piece.
Never really seen her play. Quite cool, actually. Didn't know you could do that much with like a play.
Hi, who are you? I've been left by my mum and dad. They are silly and have gone without me.
A friend of mine, we're talking about the Windrush scandals and how we could have been caught up in it. And he says to me, Joan, how could people get themselves in that situation? How could they sort of allow that to happen? That quite shocked me, particularly because this was a black person as well saying that to me. And I thought, bloody hell, if he's thinking that, other people must be thinking the same thing. And, you know, this has got to be clarified. It's got to be nipped in the bud. It's got to be knocked on the head. So I thought about how could this happen to people and how easily it could happen to people. And then I came up with Evie of Windrush.
We were given 2 of the plays and asked if we would like to do those 2 plays. And we read them and said, yes, please, we'd love to. And then it was up to us to appoint a local director and to cast the 2 plays and put them on.
My name's Jacob, and I wrote Momentary Masters. It's being performed here at the Nottingham
theatrical. They're performing 2 plays, so it's the first one. I've always been interested in writing, so I thought I'd give it a go, but this was really like my first full-length play. So then I found out that I actually made the shortlist, so that was really exciting. And then a couple of months later, I found out that it was selected as one of the 37 plays. So I told my mum and my dad first, yeah. So I hadn't actually told them that I had entered the competition, so they didn't actually know. And then when I told them, they were like, wow, and then they started reading up all about it, and that it was the RSC and stuff, because that's a big name, the RSC. The focus is on an astronomy club, so an amateur astronomy club, so they're sort of based in like a parish hall. And they sort of have debates, but often it goes off track a little bit.
If you have fallen out with people at your club, it's never too late to fix things. I know it may feel like that now, but give it time and you'll make up. I wish that was possible. For a young lad, you really are very wise.
The initial idea was wanting to see someone like myself as a character in a play. Then I built a world around that character to try and see how far I could take her. Her parents are from Bangladesh and she was born here, like me. And so that's what I wanted to see in the play.
I can't believe, I'm so sorry.
Please just stop saying that you're sorry.
Sorry.
We're used to it, okay? You didn't have any brown pastels because you don't usually do brown.
That's incredibly gracious of you.
Jack in a Box is basically a metaphor for the failings of our justice system when it comes to sexual assault, but it's a comedy. So it's set in a police station and it's told through the eyes of Barbara, the receptionist, who gets a box of patisserie Valerie muffins delivered to her desk one day. However, in amongst said muffins, she finds the ultimate severed virtue signal in the box. It's wild that, you know, in any sort of other criminal epidemic, you know, there's gun amnesties, there's knife amnesties, you can hand in your weapon to a police station and, you know, and not face any repercussions. How do you, what weapons do you hand in a sexual assault epidemic? And that's kind of where the wild idea was born.
So Silhouette Youth started on a concept about 8-9 years ago when our young people in our community didn't have anything to do on weekends. So we came to Western Fable Shopping Centre, which is in one of the most disadvantaged communities across the country. And we were blown away with 5 of the 37 plays came from this area and from our young people and the work that we had done. There was a boy called Maxie, and Maxie wrote a play called Fish.
It is about 2 fishes who come out of their natural habitat to experience life in the outside world.
And he dropped in yesterday with his mum. And it happened that we were rehearsing it at the same time, and he sat in the corner. You should have seen his face.
I took my inspiration from my pet fish called Marvin, who got really sick and lost one eye and struggled to survive. But he was a fighter and he survived longer than I thought.
It was just phenomenal.
My name is Edward, I'm 11 years old and I'm autistic. I wrote a play about a group of friends who have a lot of conflicts between each other, who then go on to discover a new social media app called FaceCrank, which encourages people to be nasty to each other, and then they figure out how to stop that social media app. I enjoyed it greatly, and I will do this again.
I thought I would check if Jay's virus had worked, so I gave some money to my local homeless charity last night through FaceCrank, and look, it's given me 3,000 points.
I really love the night sky and space, so I was really interested in those kind of things. Originally, my play was a story. My teacher liked it so much, she told the head teacher, and I was really happy with that because it was just such a nice thing to happen. And then my parents told me about the competition, so I changed it into a play and I entered it because I thought I'd spent so much work on the story, then if I made it into a play, it might be even better. And then I won.
I felt really honoured to be able to bring that to life for her. To see her face and just to watch her watching what we were doing was just lovely to see.
Meteors soar across the sky, painting the purple, blue Milky Way orange and yellow. It looks as though the whole sky is on fire.
The original idea came from an experience that I had had in the community that I live in, where a large solar farm was going to propose to be built around the countryside of the community where I live. So the play, The Doris Effect, is about the energy crisis and the grand effect of it on everybody, but also specifically on a very small farming community in a rural part of the UK.
Godmothers and Metagamers is about a young person called Dan who is struggling with the responsibilities of caring for their brother and their terminally ill mother, and they discover this world of online role play, while also at the same time looking at lots of things such as like gender and community and family, and there's a spaceship as well. I was really keen to look at how do we take the internet and put it on stage without using screens and show what it feels like to be on the internet rather than what it might physically look like.
Welcome to Onyx Born Reborn. This is a fan-made character-focused literate roleplay. Set post-season 6, this RP server will be introducing the events of the latest season once everyone has had a chance to watch it. We only partner with current players.
It's been a very slow burn. My grandparents spoke Welsh and my grandfather had the Welsh knot when he was a kid, so it sort of knocked Welsh out of the family. And then we sent our children to Welsh language school, and my son came back and they'd had an assembly talking about the Welsh knot. And I just sort of casually said, oh yeah, you know, that's why I've had to learn Welsh, that's why I didn't grow up speaking Welsh. And he was just mortified, and he just sort of said to me, can you write a play about that?
When you return, the first child heard speaking Welsh each day shall be given the knot to wear. It shall then fall upon that child to listen out for another child speaking Welsh, and so to pass the knot on. At the end of the school day, the child wearing the knot shall be given 3 and only 3 strokes of the cane by Dame Williams.
It's about 4 kids who go on a geography field trip, and they get given a worksheet and they decide this is boring, we're not doing it, and they sort of leave from their class and go on their own little adventure. The play is kind of a commentary on the school system and how it treats children who don't fit in and children who are neurodiverse and stuff like that, and their experiences within school. And I wanted to write something that was playful and fun, that kids like that would want to come and watch. And I hope that it would kind of make them feel less alone.
Whoa, we can see our classroom up here. Losers!
Part of the beauty of this project is that there were 37 final selected plays. We were looking for the new voices. So I think 37 plays enabled that sort of door opening that is often a challenge for playwrights.
Scene 1.
Scene 1. Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1. Scene 1. Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1.
Scene 1.